Hotep, brothers and sisters. Jim Crow laws were state and local laws that enforced racial segregation in the southern United States. Other areas in the United States were also affected by formal and informal policies of segregation, but many states outside the South had adopted laws, beginning in the late 19th century, that variously banned discrimination in public accommodations and voting. Southern laws were enacted in the late 19th and early 20th centuries by white Southern Democrat-dominated state legislatures to disenfranchise and remove political and economic gains made by black people during the Reconstruction period. Jim Crow laws were enforced until 1965. In practice, Jim Crow laws mandated racial segregation in all public facilities in the states of the former Confederate States of America and in some others, beginning in the 1870s. Jim Crow laws were upheld in 1896 in the case of Plessy v. Ferguson, in which the U.S. Supreme Court laid out its separate but equal legal doctrine for facilities for African Americans. Moreover, public education had essentially been segregated since its establishment in most of the South after the Civil War in 1861–65. Although in theory the equal segregation doctrine was extended to public facilities and transportation too, facilities for African Americans were consistently inferior and underfunded compared to facilities for white Americans. Sometimes, there were no facilities for the black community at all. Far from equality, as a body of law, Jim Crow institutionalized economic, educational, and social disadvantages and second-class citizenship for most African Americans living in the United States. After the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP, was founded in 1909, it helped lead a sustained public protest and legal assault on Jim Crow, and the so-called, separate but equal doctrine. In 1954, segregation of public schools, state-sponsored, was declared unconstitutional by the U.S. Supreme Court under Chief Justice Earl Warren in the landmark case Brown v. Board of Education. In some states, it took many years to implement this decision, while the Warren Court continued to rule against the Jim Crow laws in other cases such as Heart of Atlanta Motel Incorporated v. United States, 1964. Generally, the remaining Jim Crow laws were overruled by the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Thank you. God bless you. May the rest of your life be the best of your life. Oren Z.